All right, let's see what we have for notes. This last session was a little bit of a hodgepodge of different things going on. We started off the session, you guys were in the town of Krups up at the high tower, battling some of these strange visagey sort of creatures, towns, guardmen people, and Nashinjan, who is like the town constable, head honcho guy. All sorts of different things happened there, but mainly in the end, you guys did prevail. You ended up killing out. Let's see. Yeah, National John.
Am I working now?
Oh, sound perfect.
Oh, yeah. What did you change now?
My headset.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yep, sound perfect. All right, yeah. So you guys were fighting Nashinjan. Veritas Mav showed up. He helped out a little bit. He grabbed Tiva, who was knocked out on the stairwell or thought she was drowning for a little while. He dragged her out. I believe it was Seda and Zan. You guys were able to finish off Nashinjan. Veritas Mav gave you the information about getting the portal back to Sigil. Sort of, let you know that he would work on cleaning up the town, but he didn't want to hold you guys responsible for anything since you already helped out a lot as it was and stuff. So, excuse me. He gave you the key and headed you back home. From that time, it was about I think it was somebody rolled 10 months, I believe. In between what was going on, you guys have since reopened the Zan's NNFFW tour guide place there in Sigil. And which actually I believe you rolled on that too, and it was going super well for you. Things are moving right along. Most of your competition had sort of faded out, besides your one homie. I forget his name offhand, but otherwise you guys were rolling right along. Accord, yes.
I will never forget.
Accord. He's still in business and doing well. Always there to take any business you might not have time for. That is when a Gith showed up. Had a bit of chat with him, along with a man who was out in the street. Actually, it was a warrior that showed up, died in the street. I believe, Seda, you picked up the message for that, or Tiva, I don't know if you headed in. It was basically a letter. Of course, I didn't write that one down. Man, 2 weeks is a long time, apparently, for me to remember everything. Yeah, the warrior got the letter from him. You also got a letter from Veritas Mav saying that your father was there in the town of Crux for Zan's father was there, which didn't make sense because he was supposed to be dead. And the warrior that was outside when you went out there, that also was your father. He took the body inside. We're trying to figure out what to do with that. That is when the Gith showed up. He wanted to go on, well, not necessarily wanted to go on a tour, but was checking things out anyway. Ate some sandwiches, hung out with you guys for a bit. He seemed to know a little bit of what was going on about all this. Nobody really inquired too much about that. Ultimately, though, you guys decided to go ahead and head back into the town of Crux. Veritas's letter mentioned that Vlurk, the Queen of the Clocks, back in the main part of the city, would be able to give you the information on a portal back to Crux, so you didn't have to go all the way through the wastelands and up through Irontown and all of that stuff like before. Searched her out. She was a bit of a nympho ant lady thing. Had a fetish for four-legged goat men and dolls. She hooked you up with a portal that was in the stables for Accord's business. Of course, the key was just a doll. You owe her a bit of a date, though, Zan. Don't you forget, because she never forgets.
Mm-hmm.
You guys headed off through the portal, ended up in the world of Renee's. She mentioned that this was a dead world, destroyed centuries ago by a cataclysmic event. Everybody there was some sort of demonic, worshipping type cult world. and she told you not to touch anything. So you guys headed through the portal, and the first thing Seda did was touch something. Yes, dig around in the rubble, Seda. You noticed a piece of black, sort of like metal stone type stuff, and it had sort of the carving of one of these visage masks on it. As you guys headed down this main street, you could see these huge towering buildings. Most of the glass and stuff was blown out of them, but big steel buildings. Wagon-like vehicles, most of them turned upside down or smashed up to bits, but they were different from what you guys have ever seen. They were larger, more made out of metal. Engineering seemed pretty strange to Seda. Past some different signs, there was a lot of streets going off in different directions and stuff. Most of them were clogged up by rubble, crumbled buildings and whatnot. The only main pathway through the city was the main road that you were on, which you saw signs for Fifth Avenue. Down at the very end of this place was a huge, looks almost like a ziggurat or a stepped sort of pyramid, and it's all made out of black glass. Vlurk told you to look for the House of Black Marble, and there at the bottom of the house, in the basement of the house, is where the portal was back to Crux. You don't see necessarily a house, but you did see this ziggurat pyramid type thing. You started getting touched by ghostly sort of figures. Every now and then you might see one. They sort of tickle the backs of your neck, and they didn't really attack you or anything, but they were uncomforting in the least. Then they started to appear one by one, crawling out from rubble, through buildings, out of doorways and stuff. Joe's character was able to recognize them as wraiths, some sort of undead-like creature, ghost-like. They surrounded most of you. Shai Sal cast invisibility on you guys, and you basically made a break for it towards this black pyramid. Everybody was able to get into the little cutout doorway of it. Not the door itself to the place is closed, but you're able to kind of go into the little notched area for where the doorway is. Except for Tiva. One of these things grabbed you by your ponytail and ripped you back and lifted you up. It mocked you a little bit, saying that you weren't allowed to leave yet. And I believe Shai Sal blasted it with a magic missile, and that is where we ended it for the evening.
I have a question.
Certainly.
Just for my immersion, that black pyramid, what would that be in New York, or is it actually something new?
In real life, no, there's not a building like that in New York.
Okay, cool. A futuristic plan of us. So
basically, yeah. Alrighty, anything else that I missed that anybody wants to add?
I would retcon something, please,
yes.
Because I just left my dad lying on my office floor in the entranceway. Yes. So I would have probably taken care that he's like put to rest again.
There is a great burial service run by a cord within the town, just saying.
Oh man.
But yeah, you could have made sure that he was taken care of properly.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have decayed or like anything like that. He looked like he was dead for a few days, but
yeah, but he can't lie there. That's not good for business aside from everything else.
Yeah, it's just adds character to the building.
How are you going to explain that to the customers?
Exactly.
Taxidermy.
Well, the bad part is, how bad am I?
Tours and taxidermy.
Oh my goodness!
You left your dad laying on the office floor, and I'm like, shit, did her dad fall again?
Just give him a kick.
And then it took for a minute. I'm like, oh shit, she's not talking about real life.
No.
That's horrible.
No, I didn't mean it to be horrible. I was like, hold on, concerned. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that's right, her dad.
Well, you lost a few end points, so.
Yep. Alrighty. So, I double checked your casting thing for you, Dan. Too. Should have those pips at the bottom, and then on a 1d6 roll, I think it's a 1 or a 2. You keep the spell, or you have the option of keeping the spell, but spending it in hit points. I think that's what you were asking about last time.
So I should be clicking these like pentagram thingies at the bottom until I'm out.
Nope. Those things are just for showing what level. They actually have no mechanical feature. That's just like you have one marked for level 1 spells that you have access to, 2 marked for level 2 access. That's it. But you should have like the 6-sided die area.
Uh-huh.
Let me find it again. One of them would be labeled with Arcane Recovery.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. And then, and it should. I think it has 2 pips in it. So when you cast a spell, you roll a 1d6. On a 2 or less, it's up to you. On a 2 or less, though, you can take a point of damage instead of expanding the casting of the spell. So basically, allows you to keep it on a chance for you to keep a spell if you want to.
Okay.
But you can. Every time you cast a spell, you might as well roll it just to see, and then you can decide to either cast it and waste the casting of it, or take damage instead. Basically.
Okay.
And yeah, it's the main thing. All right. Well, was you casting Magic Missile? Was that correct?
Yeah, the one that's holding
Tiva.
the half
All
one.
right. Well, go ahead and do the damage up for that, and we will roll initiative since you have the jump on them.
Magic missile.
You guys will see. Go ahead.
Anybody know offhand how the mechanics for magic missile works? 'Cause I don't have-
1d4 per missile, and for every. Ooh,
That's for 5e. It's different apparently.
Magic Missile.
the 1d4 is correct.
Yep, equal 1d4 per level of the caster. So a second level mage uses 2d4. So whatever you are, it's basically that number d4.
Okay, 64.
Target takes half damage. Dice must be assigned as targets.
And if you split targets for the 6 missiles, then you have to roll an attack roll. And if you don't split them, then you automatically hit.
And I can do a save with the reverse magic with a success meaning half damage.
He would focus just on the one that has Tiva grabbed.
Alrighty.
Oh, yeah, it's a save, not an attack roll, right? Yeah.
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 And it's just the 64.
Yep.
Okay. 8, 10, 14, 17, 21.
Wow,
Ooh,
nice.
Damn, nice one. And so every mage has a signature look to their magic missile. What does your magic missile look like?
It looks like this like golden beam that breaks apart when it nails something. Just like breaks apart into like this splash of light and particles, kind of like thermite going off when it hits something.
Ooh.
Fancy. So you guys will see this splash of golden light as it strikes this thing. It'll let out a screech, Tiva, and drop you in place where it's at. You can see this pain go across its face. All of the other ones that were surrounding, there's 3 of them that are sort of in the center. One had a hold of Tiva, and the other 2 standing beside. They look a little bit more menacing, a little bit more stronger than the others. The other ones are more peonish, I guess. And you'll see a lot of them just sort of slink back into the rubble, into the darkness, the shadows, into some buildings and stuff. So these 3 just standing there. This one will turn. You can see its eyes glares out in this deep bluish sort of color when it glares at you, Shy. And why don't everybody roll initiative? It'll be 1d6 plus your dex mod.
Rolling for initiative.
I'm rolling great already. 6, sir.
Beauty.
I will die first.
Okay, so it's a D6 for initiative, right? And then plus R.
For those about to die, roll initiative.
1d6 plus dex mod.
Plus my dex mod.
I got a 4.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I got a 7 total.
Ooh. And Seda, what you got?
Can you step away for just a second? The dog was barking at something. I don't know what.
I'll slip him right into the middle then. Seda.
Weird.
As Shy Saul does that, by the way, I'm shouting, "Okay, do that again, Burke!"
Let's see.
Yes, I think I can.
For some reason.
What?
Because Morgan is here and Mike is there, and now they switched.
Well,
So now
I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, I just looked up and they were
Which-
in different
Hold on.
places.
Don't look at my screen because mine's backwards.
Oh, I know. I'm looking at mine.
Yeah.
And they were.
Huh?
Whatever. Right.
What's going on?
I not touching it. I rolled a natural 20 for initiative.
No. You're
Well, you can't.
Oh, did you roll for me?
No.
No, it's a
Roll a
D6.
d6. You fucking cheater.
I mean, granted, that's awesome.
You wasted that bad boy.
Yeah,
So many different games going on, woman. You leave me alone.
cheater.
I got a 6, so fuck off.
Oh, well.
Plus, do you have?
I don't have a dex mod.
Alrighty.
At the same time.
Right.
Yep. Alrighty, it'll be Tiva up first then. This thing does drop you, but you can see 3 of them sort of all around you. I mean, if you wanted to run for it, you can get between them, certainly since you're small.
Yeah.
But,
I'm making a run for it. I'm gonna go back to where the other group is.
alright.
Numbers, so she's gonna escape her. And she's like, "Oh shit, I'm getting out of here!" So yeah, she ran.
Alright. You guys will see the splash of gold, and as this magic missile starts this thing, it'll drop her where she's at. Tiva does, and she just makes a break running towards you guys. She'll be able to reach you at the end of the round. The 3 behind they'll turn, and you can see that they start drifting across the ground. They don't go as fast as Tiva does. Her little legs are running quite quick, but they don't seem to really even move. They just sort of drift across this ground towards you. All 3 of them. And behind that, you can see once again, as they seem to advance towards you, more and more of these things crawling out of the rubble. This one that you hit with a magic missile, it's going to hold its hand up and stares at you for a few moments, Shy, and then just kind of brings its finger and starts motioning you forward. Give me a save versus magic.
Oh shit!
Here we go.
Yeah, that's
This is my introduction. So it's a D20 roll?
Yep, a d20, and it has to be equal to or above whatever your save versus magic value is.
This is when you wish you were.
So it's just straight D20, no modifiers or anything for that?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. And saving against spell-like effect. No. Spells or innate abilities?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck. 10, and my save that shows is a 12.
So that would be a failure.
Oh no.
You are going to be compelled to come out to this thing. You have control of, what you say and do, but your muscle movement, everything just compels you to walk towards this thing as it's motioning you forward. So you can still act on your turn as long as you move towards it. And that puts Zahn up. The other 2 are just following behind as they advance towards you.
Hey, what are you doing, Burke? I run for Shy Saul, pulling out my a spear from my quiver. Probably already getting a second ready with my shield hand because I just have my hand through the leather strap behind it, so I could hold a second one. And I kind of I put my ass between him and the thing, like shoving him a little bit back. Not in a harmful way, just keeping him away from him. I guess would be my action, right?
Basically just keeping yourself between him and the...
Yeah.
Yep.
If I get a chance, I will throw a spear, but most importantly, I will see that he won't go over there.
Perfect. And that hops over to Seda then.
How far away are they again?
They're about 60 feet.
60.
Yes.
And Tiva is now hot-footing it right toward us, correct?
Yep. Halfway through the round, so she'd be about halfway there.
Okay. Well, originally the plan was to charge out there to go get her. If she's actually making her way to us, then what I'm gonna do, I'll step forward to try and I guess step in front of Shy Sal to make it more difficult for him. And then I'm gonna this time I'm gonna use my crossbow, which I've hardly used at all.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't even know you had
I
one.
did. I've had one the whole time. And I'm gonna shoot one at one of the ones drifting across the ground, coming after Tiva, to try and I guess slow them down.
All right, go for it.
So I get a +4 bonus to hit with this. So with an 11, that gives me a 15.
Yep.
All right.
That is.
So that's a D6 for 4 points of damage.
You'll see this bolt go flying forward. It'll zip past Tiva. She's running towards you, Seda. It looks like it's going to strike one of these things dead in the center, but it seems to almost harmlessly pass right through it. You see wisps of smoke and this maybe paranormal essence of it or whatever it is. Kind of wisps a little bit like fog or smoke, and the bolt itself will pass right through and bury into the street behind it.
I don't know, because he did say there were raids.
Nice.
And Shy, you are up. You would just be compelled to move forward, but you still can talk or take an action.
All right. So instead of running straight in, he's going to cast invisibility on himself. And he's kind of gonna go diagonally forward instead of going straight forward, so they don't know exactly where he is.
They, as in your friends that are trying to stop you, or they, as in the wraiths?
Probably both. He'd say, try to stop me. Save yourselves, he'd say before turning himself invisible.
All right.
Wow, another Zephyr. Zahn mumbles.
And now I think I'm out of spell slots. I have one level 1 spell slot left.
All right. I guess as you move forward, I'll let you decide if you move past them or let them. It's kind of on you. But you'll see these rays continue to move forward, but they'll stop as you reach the doorway with the others, Tiva. And you can all hear this raspy voice sort of echo in the back of your skulls. We'll say, wait. We wish to speak to the leader. Where did he go?
I look offended.
Yeah, who is the leader? I don't know if they really have, I guess Zan.
Apparently it's Zan.
Zan thinks he's totally the leader.
This thing will look at you, Zan, and no. Where's the Gith?
What do you mean, no?
Silence. If you go to speak or say anything, Zan, it'll just come out as mute noise.
You see his mouth moving.
Behind you, Seda, you can see the doors to this temple, this marble building, are slightly cracked open a little bit, and all the way around this place is just covered with sketchings, almost like chalk or engravings in the side of it of these visage masks. And these doors are no different. They're big, heavy marble doors, and they swing outward towards you. One of them is opened up just a little bit. One has basically like your typical theatrical mask. One's frowning and one is smiling as they face back at you. You get this really uncomfortable feeling that you're watching you, though. These things will stand there in silence. We wish to speak, nothing more.
Zan is erratically moving his mouth, like cursing the shit out of them, and they don't even hear it.
Shy Saw would wait until his turn so he could speak and then move so they don't know exactly where he is.
So that will put Tiva up first then.
So you said I was only running like halfway, right?
You would have reached them at the end of the last round, so you would be getting there like right now.
I'd get there. Okay. So she's going to, well, obviously knocking an arrow at somebody isn't going to do any good because it just goes right through them. So they were wanting to speak to the leader. And who did they say was the leader?
GIF.
The GIF?
GIF, which
GIF?
is Shy Sal. He's
Oh.
a GIF king, that crazy looking race.
Oh, okay. So now where is he at?
He's looking at his picture. Oh, he went invisible.
Oh, that's right. He went invisible.
Yeah.
She's going to look around like, well, he's not here. At least, maybe he's not here? Sal, are you here? He's gone invisible. Or he disappeared. Can you talk to one of us?
I'm here.
Zan is the leader, at least as far as Zan's my boss anyway.
They'll glance at Zan, but when Shai speaks up, you can see all their eyes sort of flare in your direction, or at least where you're at as you're moving along. Put down your arms. We will not harm you. Just come forward and speak to the love lost.
Do you take me for a fool? Say as he is slowly backing away. Not slowly, but like normally.
He says, no, of course not. We simply wish to test your mettle.
Think I've gone through enough tests in my life so far.
We too. Let us have words.
I'll have words from the safety of not right next to you, he would say.
You can see all three turn and sort of huddle together a little bit. They seem to be speaking to one another, but you don't really hear what they're saying, but it just sounds evil, very coarse. And then this one that you blasted with the magic missile will turn. Very well. You can move through our city. But I see your friend, the dwarf. It touches us. It pokes at us. You best keep it away.
I will keep him on a short leash, he says.
Furrows her brow. Looks at him all menacingly, but doesn't say anything.
Her, sorry.
It's hard to tell those dwarves.
she's looking at the race like,
See how that is? Seda? See how that is?
my defense, darling, it's only happened once.
These things will begin moving forward again, not menacingly, but they're sort of drifting forward at the slow rate of like a fog. And said, what do you come here for? What is it you want with this world? We don't get visitors often.
Is he asking Seda? Or the group as a whole?
In general, yeah.
Seda will immediately just go, I don't want to be here.
Well, we can send you back. We can send
home.
you back as well. Why don't you come here? We can send you
Zan
back.
is wildly
We'll be on
swinging
our
his
way.
arms.
Uh-huh. Zen is what?
Is wildly swinging his arms and stomping his hooves and like going totally nuts next to you. Not a sound is coming from him. And suddenly he stops and just folds his arms in front of his chest, looking really pissed.
The goat wishes to speak. Go ahead, goat. Speak.
No, I don't want any more. No. Takes a deep breath and says, Listen, we're just on our way to go there, and I point behind me with my thumb to the marble building. And we were told to not touch anything, but, Seda happened, and we can't help it. And what do you mean by she's touching you? She didn't touch you, she touched that thing.
And yes, that is me with thunder going all around, but...
Oh, okay, I thought it was wind and a microphone.
Which sounds awesome.
No, it's thunder.
That's awesome.
These things are snarling. You do not want to go in the marble house. For he does not like that. Says you must have our blessing.
What does such a blessing entail? And I look over at Shaisal, because this is probably something magical, and he has no idea about magic.
This thing almost shrugs. Nothing more than asking. Come, why don't you ask us?
Does he speak the truth? It? Whatever?
Is there an insight check in this?
Wisdom. Yeah, you can do a wisdom check, which would be 1d20 plus wisdom modifier.
Yeah. Alright. Wisdom plus wisdom modifier. Alright, so that's a 0. He gets a 14.
Alright. They don't look like the safest of people, but they don't come across as menacing, well, in the sense, but they don't look like they are literally out to attack you or do anything. It seems like if they wanted to do that, they could have done so from where they're at, but they're not rushing towards you. They're not showing any sort of aggression right now. We don't see people often. We simply wish to chat, wish to share stories. Perhaps, if what you say is entertaining, then you can go into the house. For to do so now without our blessings, certain murder.
Well, did you just recently lost a god?
Its eyes will narrow.
Lose, sorry.
And they all start, at least this one in the front will drift forward 10, 15 feet. It stays about 15 feet away from you, it'll stop. What do you mean, lose a god? It's been centuries for we are the love lost.
That doesn't answer my question. Don't you have a god? No?
Gods. We had one once. He left us long, long ago.
Oh well.
The world died. But here we are. We are forced to live on without home, without family, without love, without nothing. Live on and on and on.
That sounds like what's going to happen to us if we don't take care of our problem.
Your god destroys you too then, yes?
Well, no, the gods are being destroyed. That's our problem. That's why we have to get in there. And again, I point at the building.
Yes, no. Our God left us not because he died, but because he wanted us to suffer. And sort of motions these hands, very skeletal-like when he lifts them up around. And all these things, they come, they mock us. They drift through the shadows.
Wow.
And it is we can hear him laughing. Our God. It's not him anymore, though it's something else. Something dark. Darker than us.
Why make you suffer? Were you bad?
What is
Seeing all the
bad?
concern on her face.
What is bad? We worshipped him. For he was the one. He was all. We followed his word, his scriptures. And then he brought this down upon us. The world cracked, the people died. And we are the ones that are left.
Doesn't seem very nice.
No, he was not.
Well, I'm sorry that your God is not a very nice God.
We heard that he too had entered the halls of death. Your gods, they're dying. That's what you say.
I nod.
And who are these gods that are dying?
Well, we saw Finfully Butterspoon get killed right in front of us.
She was a whore anyway. Who else?
I put a hand on Sada's shoulder.
I remember the time that he showed us the way he would butcher her.
Well, that was a very pleasant conversation. I'd say we enter now because we had a nice little chat. And, well, bye. I turn around, like, on my way to the door.
She's like looking up at Zan and looking at him and then looking at Zan with this look on her face like, kill him now.
You turns on, and you'll see as you turn around, the doors to this place just slam shut. As the three of these things drift forward a little bit closer. So we're not done yet. We wish to speak.
Well, I wish to leave. What about that?
We can make you leave.
Well, no, in a on hoofs kind of fashion into that building.
That building is his temple. Nobody's allowed there without.
Well, who is his?
He. We do not. Seems he's gone. There was a day we could remember him. That we worshipped him. And then it was gone. His name gone. His scriptures gone. Everything gone.
You are terribly confusing.
I wish I could say more, for we too wish to know what's happened to him.
Well, I'll tell you what.
We're stuck here.
If we find out, we'll come back and tell you. What about that?
You'll come and tell us. What will you tell us?
Well, what you just said, what you want to know. What happened to him, where he is.
Who?
Well, he.
Who is this he that you speak of, though? How is it the same he that we once worshipped?
Oh, look, I saw. You're the intelligent one. Take care of this, or I will do.
His memory, his words, his essence, everything has been taken from us. We remember something, but not what it is. It's like waking from a bad dream that you don't quite remember. To dream, it's been centuries since we dreamt. But we still see his servants. They come through here. They leave their marks, and he'll motion towards these engravings that are left here and there on buildings of these visage masks. They crawl across the rubble, across the stones, through the buildings. They leave their marks, always here, always mocking.
Oh, that could be that.
They
If
seek
those.
something for someone. Who are these people, things?
Well, that's what we like to know as well, because we had some trouble with them, and apparently they are killing the gods outside of your realm.
To kill a god must be powerful.
Oh, you have no idea.
How does one go about this? What happens when a god dies?
Oh, I can tell you, and I lift my finger and I describe like the tall
Necrothaptus.
Necrotheptus, like showing how tall he was. And, you know, this one was serving Seth, and that was his proxy. And we were talking, and I told him multiple times that we have to talk to Seth because someone is killing the gods. And he said, no, he will do fine. He can totally take care of himself. And you know what then happened? He exploded right into our face with his face.
It must have been glorious.
The entire time she's doing this, Sato will be standing just back behind her, like doing the charade version of everything that Zan's saying.
This must have been
He's helping.
glorious to witness such destruction.
Yeah, well, I'm not so sure about that, but that's a problem for us because, you know, if the gods die, and we think it's in connection with Yggdrasil, and if Yggdrasil dies, we have a problem because every one of us will die, and that's not, you know.
It'll look around to itself and the others. Death isn't so bad.
Well,
You get used to it after centuries and centuries.
there are different opinions about this, I'd say.
Tell me, when this proxy died and exploded all over you, did you lick your lips afterwards?
I give him a look like, what the fuck?
How did it taste?
No.
That's just disgusting.
Hmm.
I've heard worse. This is very well. You come back and tell us what these things want, what they want with him, who he is, and what happened to him. Do you promise that?
Mm-hmm.
Very well. You can pass through our city unmolested and go to where you need to go. We will plague you no further.
Well, thanks, I guess. And I quickly turn around, see if the portal is open.
It's not open, but you probably could open the door.
I try.
Yeah, it'll unlock and slowly creep open.
I'll look at the others. Let's go.
I follow along.
As you pull open these doors, it smells of just old, musty, mildewy, wet clothes that seems to waft out of here. And indoors is just a simple square room, about 10 feet square, and then a pair of stairs that lead downward. Even though the pyramid itself, or the shape of this thing, goes up, you don't see any way to go up in it. It just leads downward. It's the only pair of stairs in the room. Behind you, these things will just stay exactly where they're, just uncomfortably staring at you with these bluish, glowing eyes. They don't come any closer. What do you guys do?
Sneezing fit, sorry.
Well, I'm just ready to go back. I don't want to be here anymore.
When you say that, Tiva, as you step into this building, you get this overwhelming nausea or that nagging pit in your stomach. Like this is not a good place to be.
Why am I not surprised? She kind of just leans over. Oh, I'm not feeling so good. How's everyone else feeling? I'm not feeling well at all. I think we need to do what we need to do and go.
Well, that's a plan, I guess.
She hands you a piece of bacon, too.
No,
They told.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Hand me bacon.
Yeah, they told you could go ahead, but
No, but we were told to go into the basement, right?
mm-hmm.
Yep. So, let's go.
David just kind of or not Seda, Tiva just kind of leans on Seda. Just say, would you help me, please?
Of course. Pull out my... is the hallway kind of... I'm going to pull out my sword, or excuse me, my... I've got a shield.
Yeah,
Shit.
you got a shield, don't you?
Yeah, but I don't really have a good one-handed weapon other than it. I really don't.
Didn't you have an axe?
No, I have a dagger.
Really?
What were you fighting with?
Well, I had like a spear.
two-hander.
I had a spear and a shield, and then I have a great axe.
Oh,
All right, so I'll just keep using the great axe for now.
You can step in through this room. Across all the walls is just this black stone marble. A lot of it is engraved, and you can see that it's whatever was there, all of the carvings and everything in here have looked like they've been defaced or weathered or not really there anymore. You can see that it once was probably quite immaculate and had these beautiful, maybe not beautiful, but very intricate carvings, but you can't tell what they were of anymore. If you glance down at the floor as you walk across it, you can hear Zan's hooves sort of clacking across the marble. Glance down, the marble itself looks like glass, but you just see dead bodies scattered everywhere underneath the glass of this that you're walking over top of. And some of them seem to stare at you. You can see they move underneath the glass, kind of crawling against the glass. You can see their handprints up against it, like they're trying to speak and to move. Can't hear anything from them.
Hey.
You come to these stairs that lead down, Zan. He looks like maybe he goes down a good 2 flights worth of stairs, and it's just pitch black down below.
I run really quickly over that glass floor. Oh no, that's like the elevator. They licked me. Until I reach the stairs.
Is this normal?
I was here for that one.
No.
I look back at Shaisal like shrugging.
Do you actually say that out loud?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, Sada's gonna laugh at you.
that was very disgusting.
Great. So Sada's running behind, pulling Tiva along, giggling as she goes. Once you start talking about they licked me.
And Tiva looks over at Shines. Sadly, yes, this is normal. As she tries not to retch.
Excellent. You follow.
All of you have this weird feeling that's almost a dreamlike state. Like things here aren't real, but yet everything is solid, and you can see it, you can feel it, you can smell it. It's a very strange sort of feeling that comes over you. You going down the stairs, you would either need a light source or dark vision. I don't know who has what, but it is pitch black down below.
I don't have any torches or anything listed.
Yeah, I didn't think of
Wait a minute.
Do Gith have
I have a lantern.
dark vision?
No, they do not.
Okay.
I have.
I have a Sada's got a lantern,
Have that.
so
I don't have a torch.
Yeah, if you don't, I assume you would have one anyway. That's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if dwarves and if they have dark vision. And
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they may not hear.
he said they do.
Oh,
Yeah, dwarves will. Halflings, I don't think do.
No, half
But dwarves, I think you'd be the only one that have any sort of dark vision, Seda.
So I would turn to Shy and say, "Can you see in the dark?"
No.
And she goes, whoosh, holds a lantern up like this. Says, "Take this."
Thank you. You'd hold it.
You're welcome. And then she starts rummaging through her pack and hands him a flask. We go, "You need this, or it doesn't work."
I'm
Understood.
oil.
When he takes the flask, I say he's going to begin intricately trying to describe to you how to make the lantern work.
And he just fills up the lantern and lights it like he's done this a bunch of times before.
He's just going to turn and walk away and just be like, and then walk back up to the front.
I just try and be helpful.
Yeah.
So, the ever famous question. I need a marching order.
Yeah.
You
I'll
probably
go first.
Seda go first, right? Yeah.
Oh, I'm not taking any damage since we healed up last.
I will take the rear, I say.
Say the Snickers.
I'll be in the middle somewhere.
All right, so does Shy want second or third spot then?
Third.
All right. Then Tiva. So I got Seda, Tiva, Shy is on. In that case, you can sort of light this lantern around you. It'll bounce off the walls. Everything here seems to be a smooth sheen of marble, but it all has engravings. And as you pass by it, as you step down these stairs, each step you take is on, like you can hear the clack of his hooves, and it seems to echo in this darkness. And move down the first flight of stairs to the second. When you reach the bottom of the second steps, the temperature here is cold. And you can turn to the left, and it's just a basic hallway, 10 foot or 5 foot wide on either side. To your left, Seda, is another stairwell that leads further down, and to your right is a door. And you can hear the soft just constantly coming from the door to your right.
Okay. So before we go any further, is this going to be one of those instances where it's probably I'm going to need to like map out what we're doing, or
Nope.
okay, all right. So we went down. There's a door to the right.
And then just more stairs to your left that look like they go down and then turn to the left again and go down further. So it just kind of like spirals down a little bit. And you can hear this
All right.
tapping to the door on your right. It's just a basic standard wooden door, but it seems almost like just a raindrop or something, just constant unity sort of tapping against the door.
Is there any kind of like peep on the door or a keyhole or something?
Nope, just a basic door and a handle. It's not locked. It doesn't have a keyhole.
She's going to walk up and just kind of be like, thunk, put her ear up against the door like this.
Oh, I lift my weapon.
Give me a search check.
Okay. As a DC. Where's my search? Oh, man. Oh, no. I got a 5.
You can't really hear much more. It just sounds like this constant tapping. When you do listen, though, it sounds like water dripping into a basin or something like that, just in perfect unison over and over and over and over.
So I turn and look at the others behind me and I go, it sounds like water. Do you want me to open it?
I shrug from the end of our little procession.
I go, yes or no questions, Anne.
I look at the others who are apparently looking forward and not to me.
I'm off the ground because I'm trying not to be sick.
Oh, is it that bad?
Yeah, he said I feel really nauseous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, apparently we have to go down. And the door isn't down.
So, no.
Yes.
Okay. And I reach for the handle.
I knew it.
Okay, open the door.
Oh my God.
I have an intelligence of 4. I need directions.
Jesus.
This door will creak open right beside you, Seda, and opens up. This dark bluish glow kind of hangs around the ceiling, and Shy's lantern will bounce off the walls a little bit. Inside, you can see a huge brass basin, 3 foot in diameter, and a single drip seems to be coming from the ceiling, and it drips into this water. Looks like just a black sludge-like water, just overall dripping.
Is this what we're looking for?
So what?
Is this what we're looking for?
Say it again.
Well,
I don't know. Is this what we're looking for?
that's a good question. They said downstairs to the basement. And we have no idea what the portal is.
This seems like something that may be a portal.
That is very true. What does my portal sense say? I peek in. I walk past the others and I peek inside.
From where you're at, nothing unless you really wanted to go over and check it
Oh
out.
dang! Yeah, tempt me. Yeah, so I walk slowly over, my my hammer lifted over my head.
Step in, and you can hear the dripping of this as you walk in, Zahn. Kind of glance up. It's about a 12-footer ceiling or so, and you can see the drip coming from the ceiling from a small, looks like water is running across the roof, but it's sort of upside-down pyramid shape, so it all goes to the very center and then drips from the point down into this basin. And it smells of death as you walk over and you glance at this water. Underneath, it's about 3-foot basin, but you can see hundreds, maybe thousands of small, they look like humanoids or people, but they're very miniature sized, crawling around on the bottom of this basin.
What does my portal sense say?
Go ahead and give me a roll.
Fun with portals.
Man. A 1.
One. This is definitely a portal.
To where, sir?
Many people land.
You can't tell what realm or whatever, but you get this just feeling of just complete undeath and a necropolis, sort of.
Hang on. So we were supposed to go through a portal, which doesn't immediately lead to Crux, right?
It leads to Yggdrasil, the portal you're supposed to go through outside of.
Oh, okay, good. So I turn around as soon as I feel that, and I just mumble, nope, nope, nope. And I just shove.
That's not the one.
Nope. I shove Seda to the side, close the door, and I point at the stairs. Nope.
Goes, okay, I'm going to start moving down the stairs.
I shudder.
As you pass by this room, Shy, you'll notice that your lantern, if you kind of peer in with your lantern, the light from the lantern itself doesn't pass the doorway into this room. It just seems like it ends.
Oh, what a surprise.
As you turn and begin heading down the next set of stairs, you go down one flight, Seda, and you'll come to a small landing. In front of you is yet another door. To your left is another flight down further. This door seems pretty basic. It looks like a simple, regular household or tavern wooden door, but it's covered in looks like maybe claw marks, or somebody bashed it with a sword or axe or something like that. Like somebody's been trying to get into it before.
I slowly roll my head and look over at Zan.
What is it?
Everybody give me a search roll. Whoever has the lowest.
It's not going to be me.
It's again me. Wow. One. Yeah.
We got 5 and 6.
There we go. Does Shy get a 1?
I got a 2.
2? That's close enough, actually. So both of you, Shy and Zan, his Seda stops at this door, and you can see she peers the door and looks over her shoulder at you guys, and then down the stairwell that leads further into the darkness. Both of you will hear a soft singing coming from this room. It sounds very mellow, very pleasant.
Uh-oh. I murmur as I walk up to the Gith. That's let me guess. That's probably not good.
I found that beautiful singing in the middle of a terrible hellscape is probably a warning against going wherever the singing is coming from. In my short experience traveling.
Both of you will notice a writing above the door as well as you sort of step up and talk.
What does it say?
It's hard to read. You kind of look a little bit closer and wipe off some of the cobwebs and the dust. It says, "Praises he, the necrotic one."
Oh.
I look down at Seda. No.
Okay, bro. She looks at you and just goes, okay. And carries down the steps.
Seda, give me a save verse.
Oh,
Oh no.
No.
Let me double check, make sure.
Oh boy.
It is going to be magical device.
sweet. Remember, almost all my saves are awesome.
Okay, good.
Yep, I got a 12 over 7.
Nice. So you'll stop for just a second as you get ready to move down the steps, and you feel this as if something's sort of calling you or trying to bring you back. You're able to shrug that off, though, but something in that room was trying to sort of grab a hold of your willpower as you move past it.
So as she keeps walking, she's like, ooh, that's really pretty, though, you have to admit. And then she keeps going.
I keep an eye on her.
This time, say it is all of you follow down these steps and past this door. Every time you pass by the door, though, you do have that, all of you get this weird feeling like it's trying to pull you in or something. But you'll reach the bottom of this next stairwell, Seda, as you're in the lead. And as you take off the final last step, looking around, you can see the floor of where you're standing is this mosaic of bright colored stones, and it looks like a bloated goat's face, vomiting up dying people. The mosaic is mostly covered with leaves and debris blown down from the stairs above. And directly ahead of you is a small alcove that goes in. To your left is a doorway. The door is hanging open, but you'd have to move forward and look into it. But you can kind of see that it opens up into a room. But directly in front of you in this little 5-foot alcove that's ahead, you can see another mosaic of tiled glass marble put into the wall. It's a 10-foot high skull, and its mouth is open into a swirling liquid of rainbow colors.
So, and everybody's with me?
Yep.
So as we pass the mosaic of the goat head, I look down at the goat head mosaic, and then I immediately look over at Zan, and then I look down at the goat head mosaic, and then I look back at Zan.
I squint my eyes.
I do the exact same thing, looking at her all suspicious, and then I keep walking.
Him!
Sorry. I keep walking toward the alcove.
All right, so as you step down onto these tiles, I need a save versus breath weapon from everybody.
Oh, shit.
All right, next time we check the traps. Save versus breath
do I
weapon.
have the ability to check for-
Oh, I didn't make it.
Oh, shit.
Oh, we're
Wow.
all doing it?
Yeah, I
Yep.
set it off.
Okay,
I got the number I needed exactly, which was
Okay,
10.
so it's save against what?
Breath weapon. Look at the top.
did not make it.
Well, if you did not make it, that's sad. But as you step down onto this tiled floor, Seda, ahead of you, you can see this skull mosaic that's built into the alcove. You look a little bit closer, you can see there's 4 notches, one at each compass point, north, south, east, and west. The northern and the western alcoves have nothing in them, but they're just burnt with scorch marks and soot. To the east is a small diamond, and as you look at that, you can recognize this beautifully handcrafted gem that's there notched in the wall, and it explodes. All of you can feel this rush of energy, electrical, and sort of electrical bolts just rise from the mouth of this skull up the whole hallway up behind you. If you did not pass that, you get 28 damage on a
What?
It's 14.
What?
28 damage.
Yeah, I rolled 4 6s on a 66.
Oh my God.
Shit.
I only have 22 health.
Well, you will get a stick like I do in a very short time, I'm pretty sure.
As all of this discharge seems to clear up a little bit, say that you're standing on this tile with this demonic looking entity vomiting all these dead people up. Smoke, and you can feel everybody's hair on the back of your neck that's rising as smoke begins to clear. Who is still up? I guess I should ask.
I do. I'm blasted back probably against the wall, and I look like totally shocked, and my eyebrows are gone again. And I just stare at Seda. She's still alive?
Yeah, I didn't take a. Did we take anything if we made it?
Yeah, 14 damage.
Oh, yeah. Well, then she's got like a scratch on her. 14. That would put me at. Hold on. 50. That would put me at 46. So yeah, I'm still up, and of course now I'm freaking out over Seda or Tiva. So
Yeah, Tiva collapses.
I immediately rush over to grab her.
Okay, I need initiative from everybody.
Oh,
Well, I'm freaking.
Can you guys hear me?
still got to
Yeah.
All right.
Now we can. What? Are you dead?
No.
Good.
I'm very close to dead, though.
Yeah, me too.
5 health.
I have 6.
3 for Seda.
Data's 3, okay.
I have a 3 as well.
10 for the one who's knocked out conscious.
Jesus.
And she rolled a 6.
And then initiative from Shy. What you got?
I got a 4.
All right. 4 is Shy. So I need. I'll give you to the end of the round if somebody can make it to you, Tiva. But in that case, who was at the end? Zahn, you will hear this soft ticking behind you, and it's sort of like the patter of something, almost like your hooves when they were coming down the stairs.
Would I recognize 4 hoofs or 2 hoof walk?
A 2-hoof walk, per se.
2 hoof walk, shit.
Yes. Glance over your shoulder and look up. There's nothing there, but what is your def or your AC?
So without shield, I'd say now that's 14.
All right. You can hear these footsteps come around. It sounds like they're just behind you. As you turn, there's nothing there but darkness. And then you will see this thin line of blood start on your chest and just runs right across your chest. And then another one as it forms an X. It's slowly starting to bleed. And then you feel the pain. 9 points of damage, Zahn.
Wow, I'm out.
That puts Seda up. You'll turn to see Zahn go down just behind you as well.
So I'm going to take my 2-handed axe, and I'm going to step over to right where Zan fell. And I'm going to step right over top of the body, and I'm just going to do this wide arcing swing in front of me and swing to right where I'm pretty sure the thing was just standing.
All right. So if it's invisible, you got to make 2 attacks, and both must hit.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, thank God for +6 to hit. All right. So the first one is going to be a 17,
Okay.
and the second one is going to be a 20.
They will both hit. Go ahead and do damage.
Nice.
So wish I got to add my strength into my damage. That's going to be 7 points of damage.
Nice. You can feel your axe as it hits something. You don't see anything there, but it definitely comes to a bit of a halt as you slam into something, but you don't hear or see anything. Zahn, we'll wait to the end of the turn since you are down, so that puts Shy Sal up. You'd be standing on the stairway, Tiva down at your feet, Zahn down at your feet, and Seda sort of steps past you. You can see that she hits something there in the darkness that's invisible. When you hold your lantern up towards it, it just passes. You don't see anything there. Are you there, Dan?
I'm sorry. My mic freaked out. Can you?
Okay. Yep, I can hear you.
Oh shit. Okay. So it seems like Seda just struck at somebody who was invisible.
Yep, it's definitely something there, but it's obviously invisible as well. If you hold your lantern up or whatever, you don't see anything there. Both Tiva and Zahn are down at your feet, bleeding out.
I'm about to join them. All right. He's gonna cast Fairy Fire, at the invisible thing.
All right.
So like where he saw Seda like striking at, he's gonna cast it so that that area is included, but Seda is not affected.
Gotcha. All right. You can see the outline of. It looks like sort of a humanoid, but the legs of it sort of resemble what Zahn's do, very goat-like or animal-like. The upper half you can see is a very large-built torso and these thick, curling back horns that come back from its skull. Very demonic-looking thing. It's about average height of like a typical human that you outlined there. In that case, you will not need to make 2 attacks to hit it, Seda.
Seda, I think we're in trouble.
Seda shouts at you to get Tiva up if you can.
Would I be able to help one of them up after I cast a spell?
Do you have something to get him up with or heal him
I
up?
have a healing potion.
All right, yeah, you can use a healing potion on one of them.
Yeah, he'll cast that spell, basically sending like these sparks that stick on anything that is living in the area. And then he'll use a healing potion. I have 2 of them, but I'm going to use one of them on Tiva, who is, I guess, next to me, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
All right, healing potion is a
6 plus 1.
Go ahead and roll that. Either you or Tiva, doesn't matter which.
Okay. 6.
So heal yourself 6 hit points, Tiva. Is
Okay. Well, that means I've got
You heal
2
that.
points.
You heal that from 0, right?
yeah, heal from 0 up.
Is it from 0?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I had put myself as a -4.
Yeah.
No. And in that case, I only need the death roll from Zahn.
Uh-oh. I've never done that, actually. What do I roll?
1d20, and you don't want a 1 or a 2.
Oh. No, I rolled a 1.
You did? Really?
Yeah.
You guys will see Zahn as he goes down, this gash across his chest getting wider and wider as this just splits open on the ground.
No.
Back to the top. Tiva, you would be up. You can look over at Zahn, and Zahn looks like he is done for.
Just Step back and shoot.
Step
Seriously.
back and shoot. Okay. What am I shooting at? Oh,
Well, the thing's covered in like fairy fire.
Yep, you can see this. It looks like a humanoid, demonic, invisible entity of some sort that's standing there, and it's advancing on Seda now.
So Tiva's gonna get up and then just kind of just step back, and then she's gonna knock an arrow and shoot at the thing covered in fairy fire. So
You should have a really nice 2-hit bonus.
see
Nope, it's got any weapons.
down here,
Mm-hmm.
light crossbow. So does a d6 damage.
No,
right?
you got to roll to hit. What's the
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
What's the AB?
My AB. It doesn't say.
Probably should be just her dex mod, I believe.
Oh, okay, well that would be 4.
No, it's got to be more than that. Because otherwise I wouldn't have +6 to hit.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I rolled a 7, so 7 plus 4 would be 12? No,
Yeah, but-
13.
What does it say for your attack bonus? Base.
It says nothing. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't say anything.
It'd be no different than your dagger and like every other attack you've done.
Your range
Oh.
AB is +5.
Oh, okay.
So
I was
you-
looking down here
It's
under
plus,
AB.
it's +5 for you.
Okay, so it's plus 5. Okay,
Yes.
well then that means what? 7 plus 5 is 12.
Yeah, I guess. 12.
Yep, you can see this arrow skip across the floors and bury itself into the side of Zan's skull. Seda, you are up.
So Sada's going to go forward and swing again. And she's going to shout, "Get Zion up!" Because she doesn't understand what's happened. She's hoping there's still a chance to save him. And she's going to swing at the thing. And this time I'm going to get an 11 plus 6 for 17.
That's a hit.
And this time we're going to do 6 points of damage.
See another slam into this thing, and this black crimson sort of goo splatters across the wall beside you. This time it'll start to, whatever this spell is that it seems to have on, so flickers a little bit, and you can see what looks to be some sort of starter or goat-like humanoid standing there, and then it blinks out again. It's still covered in the fairy fire, though. And it would be up, so it's going to come forward a little bit. Does 18 hit you, Seda?
Yeah, barely.
It's going to be 11 points of damage. As it comes out, you can feel just like the stinging slices, one across your side of your face, one down your arm, another on the back of your leg. Some sort of thin-like weapon, but it cuts deep. Give me a save versus paralyzation, Seda.
Yeah, I rolled an 18. I'm good.
You're good. Shy Salam. Ursal, you are up.
All right. He's gonna see how Sean's doing. Seems like he got pretty messed up.
You step down next to Zan, and you can see that he looks done. His chest is tore right open, and it just continues to keep like almost rupturing or like splitting apart as he's on the ground. And
May I have-
arrows.
Oh, sorry.
Nope. And arrows buried into the side of his head. And go ahead, Micah. What were you gonna say?
May I have a last action that happened before I'm totally done, before I'm totally out? Like a really small thing.
Well, yes. Go ahead.
So, I mean, I'm no foreigner to fights and such, and I know when my time is done, and I prepared for this. So as I'm lying there on the ground, totally out, I feel those scratches in my chest area. My hand goes into my pouch in a hidden compartment, and I pull out a small, really small scroll with a little like a string around it that it stays shut, and a wax seal, and it shows the NNFFW logo, and I hold it like right in front of my chest that everyone would be able to see it as soon as the stress is over, of course.
Perfect. I'm gonna send you a quick message over on Facebook.
Okay.
So he would like have the potion out and like be checking, but see that the wound is like continuing to open. He just shake his head, and he's gonna. So for casting spells without spell slots, what exactly do I do?
So basically, you're going to try to get a 1 or a 2 on a d6. If so, you're going to take a point of damage, but you're able to cast the spell.
Okay. He is going to try to do that. And if he succeeds, he's going to cast haste on all three of us. Oop, fuck. Fell off. Fuck. Fell off again. 2. So he gets 1 damage.
Yep, take 1 point of damage, and what's haste do?
Let me bring it up here. Haste. This spell makes creatures move and act more quickly than normal. 1 creature per caster level within a diameter of 60 feet can be affected. So a hasted creature can make double the normal number of actions and automatically wins initiative. All of the hasted creatures' modes of movement double in speed.
Yeah.
And
Dispels.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So basically double actions.
Double actions. Beautiful.
So if he casts haste on himself, does he get to cast another spell? Or take a...
I would say it goes into
Potion?
effect immediately, so I would say yeah.
Okay, he's going to take a potion. He's going to down his last healing potion. Gets 6 health back. And so what does the potion take the action?
Yep, that would be, drink of the potion would be the action. Yep.
Okay. So yeah, he's going to use that as his hasted action. So everybody gets an extra action now.
Sweet. Hop over to Tiva then. You're going to have 2 actions. Behind you, you can see this grinning skull on the wall, this large mosaic and the swirling pool of colors in its mouth. But as you look over to your left and through this doorway, Tiva, you see a small form in the room sitting on what looks to be sort of a large, poofy, comfortable sort of chair. Sitting back, and you see the form of Butterspoon sitting there, rocking back and forth. She's like, Tiva, it's been so long.
Tiva just kind of looks. Aren't you supposed to be dead?
Shh, don't say that word here. That would be horrible to die in a place like this. Truly sorry for your friend. But
To
so long.
truly die in this place, and at that moment you see a ghostly figure just like rip itself free from Zahn's body. It has horns and 4 hoofs, and it's hovering over the body, looking around a little bit confused, and then rushes over through the air, not touching the ground, standing right or hovering in front of Seda and pointing back to the body it just left.
Okay, so Tiva's freaking out. What's going on? What is this place? And are you really Butterspoon? Or are you just a figment of my imagination?
Says, of course I'm Butterspoon. Look at the way my cheeks are so soft. And look at my flower, Tiva. Didn't you remember this flower? Here in my hair. It smells of... Why don't you come smell it? It smells delicious.
I'll take your word for it. Yeah, Tiva's not going anywhere near Butterspoon.
No. I insist. Give me a save versus spell-like effects magic.
I just want to go
I just
home.
want to go home. I got a 13.
It'll be-
Save versus what now? Is
Uh,
that spell-like effects?
Yep.
Okay, well, that's a 13.
So that's a success. So you feel yourself maybe take a couple steps down, and just as you're getting ready to step down onto this demonic-faced mosaic that triggered the trap before, you stop yourself. And you can look in there, and this form of Butterspoon seems to shift and not quite look the same. It's a little darker, and you can see her face contorts a little bit. And whatever it is seems to be trying to keep up this look that it has, but you can see that's something else. It's not her.
All right. Well, then you said I get 2 actions?
Yep.
Okay, well, Tiva's going to look at her and shout, I knew you were Butterspoon! And then she's going to knock an arrow and shoot at it.
All
right.
Talking about
All right, here we go.
Mo's getting her angry on,
Ah, shit, I got a 2.
but she's the queen of minimum rolls.
I know!
Still got another action left.
Oh, I got one more. Okay, I'll try it again.
You're
All
hasty,
right.
aren't you? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I am.
Come on.
Okay, well, that one's a 15.
That'll be.
5 is 20.
Oh yeah, definitely a hit.
All right, so then let's see. So, wrong dice. So my damage is a D6. And I got 2.
It's not minimum.
Yeah, I fell 1.
This bolt will bury into the thing's shoulder, and you can see that it lurches up. And this form of Butterspoon is sort of taken over. It looks humanoid, but has 4 arms, and it sort of crouches on the ground, begins to slowly crawl, almost animal, feral-like, across the ground towards you. And it looks up and see this demonic face, these serrated teeth that it grins, this very wide mouth, 4 eyes in place. There's 2 more, or 2 eyes on 2 eyes on either side. This starts to scurry across the ground for you. Seda, you are up. You can look in this room, and you see what looks to be an old dwarf. You don't see this thing on the ground crawling towards you. Looks like a very old dwarf as he's injured, and he's pulling himself across the ground. And he looks up and reaches out a hand. Seda, help.
Let's see. Where's my wisdom? Do I recognize the dwarf?
It would be somebody you knew from back when you were a child. Nobody specific. I'll let you decide that, but it's definitely somebody you would know, yeah.
Utilizing the power of my wisdom roll, I stand. I take it the thing I was fighting is gone.
It's still there, no.
Oh, it is still there?
Yep. It goes after you do.
Oh, no. Seda doesn't care about the old man then. No, I'm just, the thing took down Zahn. She's super pissed, and at this point in her life, Seda's pretty much one thing at a time. So she's going to go after the thing.
All right, go for it.
All right. And I am going to miss that time, even with the +6.
You got 2 actions, so go ahead and...
Yeah. I am not going to miss that time with a 21 total. That's going to be 8 points of damage.
That's enough to take it out. Go ahead and describe what you do to it.
Talking about. So she sees the old man dwarf, and she gets and she's like looking at it for a minute, and then she notices the thing's still there, and she's distracted, so she swings and she misses, and then she gets super pissed over that. So when she swings, she just brings the axe back around like this and just comes across and takes it right in the head and lays him low.
Nice. You see this form crumple, this invisibility spell or whatever it had on it seems to die off with it. And it looks, I imagine Tiva and Seda, maybe the others, it looks like a orc like creature, but the lower half of it is that of a goat, and he has these curling back horns. The face, it looks what's the word, like branded or scarred into its face is this weird ruin that looks like a triangle and then a skull in the center of the triangle. A very childish sort of drawing of it, but sort of branded right across his face.
Hmm.
And shy, you would be up. If you look into this room, you don't see anything but blackness. In front of you is this skull with the swirling colors in its mouth, this mosaic on the floor. Zan's ghost hovering.
So the port key for the portal.
Mm-hmm.
Do I see anything else that might be a portal nearby?
Well, Zan, you are capable of speaking. You would recognize this thing that is in the skull's mouth to be a portal if you would like to try and do a portal check.
Okay. I look over there and a 4.
So, no, it's definitely a portal, and you do know that the swirling colors like this one are ones that lead back to Yggdrasil, but you do get a very uncomfortable feeling from this one. Exactly where it leads on Yggdrasil or what it passes through, you won't know, but it's not very good.
I kind of look and cough suddenly, and my voice echoes through the room. Well, that's the right portal, but it doesn't feel too right. Not really right. And I look a little bit embarrassed as I look down at myself, at my ghostly form.
Well, I'm not staying here, he'd say, as he casts Enlarge on himself and goes pick up Zan and head for the portal.
Nice.
So that's a D6 again. 1.
Nice. Yep. Just take your point damage, and you can cast Enlarge.
Cast Enlarge on himself, and you might cast it on Seda and just ask her to grab Zan and then go.
Oh, you have no idea what kind of friend you just made.
Yeah, he'd like kind of like cast the hand and the voice components. Think to do it to himself, and then cast on the dwarf. You're like 8 feet tall and about that wide.
Oh God.
I float up to Seda's ear and I whisper, "Take the scroll. Take care that it doesn't get lost."
So Seda immediately, as Zan comes up, Seda's standing there like 8 feet tall, and she's immediately just sitting there going, like, over the fact that she's so big. She reaches down and she grabs the. Oh, hold on, Shy, you took the body of Zan?
He would say to you to grab it since he enlarged you and you're stronger. He'd grab the scroll immediately though and start running towards the portal.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab Zan, the body and the scroll, and immediately shove it in her pocket. And she's gonna turn to. She's gonna actually turn to Zan, and kind of be teary-eyed, and she's gonna say, "Can't you get back in there?"
No, it won't let me, and I don't think it's a good idea to carry me around, but I'll try to follow. It's fine.
But you're supposed to be in there, and she's like pointing at the body.
Well, sometimes things happen. I knew it would happen one day. Well, you set me on fire a second time, so I shrug and I float over to the portal.
Oh, all right, so she just mopes now because she feels super bad. She just mopes over to the portal and just walks through it. Oh, wait a minute. Did everybody else go through it?
Shy ran through.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm getting out
I
of
want to
here.
make sure I'm not not paying attention and just walking through while everybody else is figuring it out.
No.
Even though that would
Yeah,
be-
he'd basically cast enlarge, grab the scroll, and then uses hasted movement to get through the portal.
So did Zan go through the portal?
Yeah, well, I float through or try to.
So I can't talk to him before I go. Yeah, I'm just gonna like pat Zan body and just walk through the portal.
And I'm going to be the nice DM and assume you all jump over the trapped mosaic floor tile there.
Of course they do.
Trigger off another lightning bolt.
Oh God.
I don't want company.
As you guys jump over that and run through this portal, it's like every other time. It feels like just cold water, liquid as you pass through it. And Shai, you'll come out first. As you run out of this thing, you run out onto the branch of a tree. Below you is just leaves everywhere, but they're huge. Each leaf is easily the size of a house or a building. And this branch that you're on is as wide as a double-sided road. It's just massive. In the distance, you can see what looks to be a small town built into the nook of a tree. The branch you're standing on, though, is just covered in like this black, sooty, sort of like it's been burnt, sort of, but it's slimy and it's just covered in these little black mushrooms all over. The whole thing just seems very like it's under attack by some sort of fungus or slime or something. Behind you, Tiva will run out, and then Seda carrying the body of Zan, 8 feet tall and still buff. And you can all wait a few moments, but you don't see Zan pass through. What do the three of you do? Tiva and Seda, you guys will recognize that as Crux in the distance.
Crux is where we're trying to get to, right?
Yep, the town with Veritas Mav and all of them. Yep.
So, well, then Tiva. Seda turns and looks at the portal and just stands there waiting, expecting Zan to come through.
Oh.
And Zan does not come through. On your side, Zan, you'll see the three of them pass through. If you try to, it's like just hitting a glass wall or something. You can't seem to move through it. And you are stuck in this place. Imagine, in your case, days would pass, years. You're not really sure how long. As it all sort of starts to blend together. But you can move through this building, but you're just unable to leave it. There's been a lot of people here that have died. You can meet all of their ghosts over time. One thing strikes you, though. This room that you were next to, the others passed through the portal, but this little side room, as you someday, anyway, as you look around in there, it's quite large, expansive, about 30 by 50 feet, held up by these 4 massive columns. Each one of the columns is carved out to look like this huge, bloated, goat-like faced figure. But all of them are worn, cracked, and defaced. All around the room, you can see these visage carvings that have been carved in. But again, there's all sorts of other carvings. You can't quite make out what they are, what they do. And maybe is Zen sort of the curious one and knows all the thing that's going on there. But over the days, weeks, months, you begin to notice this theme around this building. Everything is always dead, necrotic. Give me I'm going to say an intelligence check.
No. Mm-mm.
You've seen carvings like these. You've heard stories of a god. You can't place his name. It's strange. Maybe growing up in some of the schooling Zan did, or maybe tales from his father. This whole place seems to be a church of some god, but you can't seem to place it. Like, you should know what it is. You even pass by one of these carvings that looks like this huge ogre, this goat-like skull, these curled black horns, and he's holding a scepter with a skull mounted on the top of it. Beside him are all these other chain humanoids, orcs, halflings, dwarves. They're all dead, decaying. They're all chained to this throne that he sits upon. And you recognize this. You can't figure out where you know it or whatever it is. And you come back a few days later thinking at it, and it's this carving seems to be, again, just defaced and worn away by time, by years of weather.
Do I see a wrong turn pentagram somewhere?
Most certainly you do.
Oh, dang.
And
No.
you don't know how many days it's been, but you will see one of these visage creatures come through the building. A second, a third, and a fourth. And they all kind of gather in this room. It seems to be some sort of prayer-like room or something. And over the time you've been here, you've noticed all the blood stains, all of the markings on the walls, the chains hanging from the ceilings. It seems to be some sort of sacrificial chamber. That room up above as well that had that basin full of water, you'll notice that they tend to pass through that a lot as well. They don't seem to notice you as being the ghost. They're just completely oblivious. But they always speak of his return and that he will gather the energy from all of the dead. Tenebrous, he is the one.
Of course he is. Oh my goodness.
And what does Zan do over this time, between this and just knowing that he's forever stuck here, dead?
He's probably trying to pass by time, like trying to pester those creatures as much as he can, probably to no avail. But that's the like his life goal, right? Or his undead life goal, to at least find a way to make them, to piss them off, to annoy them. Yeah.
And yeah, they don't seem to pay much attention to you. Don't seem to even really notice that you're there. You can always hear the whisperings of the love lost outside, their cackling, their glee.
Can I leave the temple?
You cannot.
Okay.
And it's hard to say how long it's been, but you'll hear one moment, one time, one day, this splashing, and you look into this room with this black basin, and you will see this smoky like claw lift from it and begin to pull itself out. What emerges looks much like an ogre, but it's black, wispy, smoked, covered in open wounds, scars, and decay. It's just hanging with chains that it drags behind it, pulling with it zombie-like undead creatures from this pool. And it'll move through the building, each footstep leaving a blackened soot mark on the floor as it leaves. Outside with the others, as you guys make your way towards Crux, you can see Veritas stands at the gate. Seems to be impatient. Maybe he's working there or something. He's actually dressed up with leather armor and the guard's regalia, though much nicer than what everybody else has since he's much wealthier. And he'll look at you all, and he has this very sorrowful, worried look on his face. Hi, friends. Where's Zan? Looks like you're missing a few of the crew. Oh, well, actually,
Her head and start to cry.
imagine he'll probably see Seda, much larger, coming around the corner with Zan's body. Like, oh dear.
Yeah.
Looks like you've grown up a bit, Seda. But
Great.
he'll come over and looks at Zan's body. We'll give him a proper burial, eh? We got a bit of catching up to do, friends, but let's go bury him and give him a proper rite. And he'll turn and start heading down the street. And you guys follow him.
Yes. I
And-
appreciated that, absolutely.
And it'll be 8 o'clock, so any last parting words from anybody? What do you guys do as we sign off for the evening?
So Seda would go, and am I to assume that the last rites, the burial is something that's just going to kind of take place, or are we going to?
Yeah, Yeah.
So Seda would obviously help with all that, and then before anything else, as I'm assuming the catching up to do will be that the guy's going to let us at least get some rest.
Yeah.
So while they're resting, even though Seda's banged up a little bit, but not all that bad, she takes a little bit, some of the silver that she's got, and she goes to, I guess, whoever a local sign maker would be or whatever, and she has him make a sign, like a little wooden sign, and she carries it back out to where we came through the portal.
Mhm.
And just sticks it in where the thing is, pointing to the thing, and then just kind of sits there for about 15 minutes or so, and then turns around and mopes back toward the tree. And as she goes, anybody that walks by the sign, it's spelled properly because the sign maker helped it out, but it just, anybody looking at the sign would just see a sign that says, "Dear Zan, please come home."
Oh man, you make me choke.
Aw.
And then Seda goes moping back, holding on to the scroll that she took, and goes to find Tiva
Nice.
because she can't read.
And any last words from anybody else?
Well, would someone read my scroll?
I can't.
Nobody cares.
Shazal grabbed it, so he would open it if that was something that the other two would think would be like your wish.
Well, Michelle said she would read. I was taking it to her to read because, like, literally Zeta cannot read.
Yeah, she can't read.
So she was taking it. So Michelle said she'll read the scroll as part of her party thing.
So
Okay.
Tiva wipes the tears from her eyes and takes the scroll and unwraps it and starts to read it.
And it says, so there are two scrolls, one bigger scroll, which looks a little bit more, as if he put some more effort into it. It looks more official, and another one, like a smaller piece of scroll. And the first one says, the more elaborate one says, the smaller one says, "Dear Seda and Tiva, I hope both of you are still alive and well when one of you has the questionable honor to read those two papers. Sadly, all lives come to an end, and I feared for long that our quest would finally take away one of us. Still, I ask you to continue the fight, otherwise all our lives and afterlives might be in danger. You will receive a letter from the Fated soon if you send them in turn my last will, which I have included." And the more elaborate one says, "Hall of Records, Sigil. Here I present my last will, Zan, Buck of Gel, Great Bazaar, NNFFW. All my worldly belongings I want to be given to the Planars, Seda and Tiva, both in my employment. This includes, but doesn't end with, my business, NNFFW. A stash of taxes, in quotation marks, is hidden below the floorboards of the kitchen. You, the Fated, take these as actual taxes, underlined, and won't bother the two new owners of the establishment. Sincerely, Zan, Buck of Gel."
Wow. You're the one reading it. Michelle does not like this.
I do not.
Beautiful.
Tune in next week for the response.
Awesome.
That was awesome.
It was.
And any last things from Shy before we end for the evening? Since he didn't really get to know Zan very well, but
Yeah, he would just like watch, kind of implacable, as they have a much more emotional response. But he would feel, he knows what it feels like to lose somebody, so he would He would just give them the space that they need.
All right, and we will end it there for the evening.